My husband thought I wouldn't remember what he did to me, so I made sure everyone would remember what I did to him. I woke up in the hospital with no memory of how I got there. The last thing I remembered was eating dinner with my husband Greg at our house. Spaghetti and meatballs, his specialty. The doctor said I'd been found unconscious in our driveway by a neighbor walking their dog. Possible concussion. No signs of a fall or injury though, which was weird. Greg was sitting in the chair next to my bed looking concerned. He held my hand and told me I'd been acting strange all evening. Said I kept forgetting things, repeating myself, stumbling around. He thought maybe I had too much wine with dinner. The doctors kept me overnight for observation. Ran some tests. Everything came back normal except my blood work showed traces of a sedative. Not enough to be dangerous, but enough to explain the memory loss and confusion. When I asked Greg if I'd taken any medication that day, he said no. Just seemed like I had a weird reaction to the wine. Something about his answer felt off, but I was too foggy to push it. We went home the next day and everything seemed fine for about a week. Then it happened again. Same thing. We had dinner at home, chicken this time. And the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the bathroom floor with Greg standing over me looking worried. He said I'd gotten dizzy and passed out. This time I didn't go to the hospital. Greg convinced me it was probably just stress from work and I needed to rest. But I started noticing a pattern. Every time it happened, we'd eaten dinner at home. Every time Greg had cooked. And every time I'd wake up with no memory of what happened after eating. One Thursday night, Greg said he was making his famous chili for dinner. I told him I wasn't feeling well and would just have some crackers later. He seemed annoyed but didn't push it. That night, nothing happened. I slept fine. No confusion, no memory loss, nothing. That's when I knew. The next week, I pretended everything was normal. When Greg offered to make dinner Friday night, I said I'd love that. He made lasagna. While he was in the kitchen cooking, I watched him from the hallway through the crack in the door. I saw him pull a small amber bottle from the spice cabinet, the one behind the oregano, where I never looked. He shook something into my plate before adding the lasagna. Not his plate, just mine. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone and started recording. Got the whole thing on video. Him pulling out the bottle, checking over his shoulder, dumping powder onto my plate, stirring it in, then putting the bottle back. When he called me to dinner, I sat down like nothing was wrong. Pushed the food around my plate but barely ate any of it. Said my stomach was bothering me. Greg looked frustrated but tried to hide it. After dinner, I pretended to feel dizzy, stumbled a little, acted confused. Greg helped me to bed and I pretended to pass out. Through barely open eyes, I watched him grab his phone and start texting someone. The messages made me sick. He was texting a woman named Vanessa, telling her the plan was working, that I'd be out for hours and he could sneak out to meet her. Said he'd been doing this for months and I never suspected a thing. He actually laughed while typing it. After he left the house, I got up and found that amber bottle. Took it with me along with my phone that had been recording everything. I drove straight to the police station at midnight and filed a report. Showed them the video, the text messages I'd photographed from his phone, and handed over the bottle. Turns out it was a prescription sleep medication. Not Greg's prescription though. His girlfriend Vanessa was a pharmacy tech who'd been stealing medication and giving it to him. The police arrested Greg at Vanessa's apartment 3 hours later. Both of them got charged. Him for domestic abuse and drugging me without consent. Her for theft and distribution of controlled substances. But I wasn't done yet. See, Greg worked at a corporate office downtown. Big fancy job, lots of important clients. I took that video of him drugging my food and I sent it to everyone. His boss, his coworkers, his entire family, even his gym buddies. I posted it on Facebook and tagged him. Wrote a detailed caption explaining everything he'd done, how he'd been poisoning me for months so he could sneak out and cheat. The video went viral in our town. Everyone saw it. His company fired him 2 days later. Said they couldn't have someone like that representing their business. His family stopped speaking to him. His friends abandoned him. Everywhere he went, people recognized him as the guy who drugged his wife. Greg tried to apologize, sent me dozens of messages begging me to take the video down. Said I was ruining his life. I blocked him and filed for divorce. The day our divorce was finalized, I got a message from his mom. She said Greg had to move 3 towns over because nobody would hire him anymore. He thought I wouldn't remember what he did because of the drugs, but I made sure nobody would ever forget what he did to me. Now he has to remember it every single day.